There we go.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. I'm Terry Mark. I'll be your host, so to speak, from the UU Fellowship of Elkhart. And we're going to get started here with some gathering music from Andrew, and I will mute everyone but him for this part.
Good morning.
Go ahead, Andrew.
Okay. Can
You're
you
good.
hear me now?
Yes.
There we go. Good morning. I've been trying to touch the past. I want to know just why I am. Reach back through the mist of time. So much I want to understand. You were a child once like me, full of wonder, full of pain. I know sometimes that you were scared. I know that sometimes you were brave. This is the only life I've known. In part you gave it to me. Look behind or look ahead. You are woven in the thread in my web of mystery. I'm still trying to touch the past while the present slips away. But I've got to know how your part goes before those pages fade to gray. You were old once like me. I wish that I could see your face. No one else knows what's past our eyes. Hurt and anger, love and grace. This is the only life I've known. In part you gave it to me. Look behind or look ahead. You are woven in the thread in my web of mystery. Someday, centuries from now, like coaxing amber into flame, since I've left a verse or two behind, someone might still speak my name. Someone might still speak my name. Someone might still speak my name.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our sacred virtual space on Zoom. We are the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Elkhart, a welcoming community encouraging religious freedom, encouraging individual, spiritual, and ethical growth, celebrating diversity, and promoting a just and sustainable world. My name is Terry Mark, and as a member of the UUFE, welcome to this service. If you'd like to learn more about us, you can check our website at www.uufe.org or on our Facebook page, the UU Elkhart. I'd like to now introduce Reverend Kevin DeBeck for some words of fellowship life.
Good morning, everybody. First of all, I want to welcome those of you who are from the Unitarian Universalist Church of Tippecanoe County. Welcome. I'm glad you all are with us this morning. And these are some announcements that are just from what's going on in our little fellowship up here in Elkhart. So this afternoon, this is our witness that we're doing. My wife, the Reverend Amy DeBeck, for a year would go to downtown Elkhart and witness against children being locked up in cages on our southern border. That ended in July, and what we're doing now, we're doing it every Sunday now through October 4. We are registering voters because we participate in UU the Vote, and we feel that if real change is going to happen, we need to make sure as many people are registered to vote as possible. So every Sunday from 2 to 3 o'clock, we are going to have a table down at the Civic Plaza in downtown Elkhart to help move this forward. We are holding several UUFE families in our hearts this morning. On Monday, Pedro and Jess Galicia laid Pedro's brother Frank Galicia to rest. He was only 35 and his passing was rather sudden and unexpected. On Friday, Anthony Robinson died. We hold Zanzer and Norman closely in our hearts this morning. Karen Kerr and Chuck Bauer are still in the discernment stages of getting a diagnosis and plan for Karen's medical treatment. On Facebook this week, some of our people who use that way of conveying information, we learned that our member Randy Demerly lost his grandfather. So we hold him in our hearts this morning. Also from Facebook and from a phone call, we found out that our member Rowene Sibley has been diagnosed with breast cancer, and unfortunately it has spread. So we'll keep her in our hearts this morning. Now, there has been some talk of reviving a phone tree. We started a phone tree in the early days of the pandemic, so that way people can stay in communication with each other that wasn't necessarily dependent on internet technology. We're looking to set up more people to keep in touch more than just to spread information. And we're all encouraged to keep reaching out to folks just to fight isolation and loneliness. So that concludes our announcements this morning, and something we do at Elkhart is that we now ring a gong. And, yes, there we go. We ring a gong 3 times. Once for those who came before us and made a place for us. Once for those who are here now. And once for those who will come after us and build on the dream.
Our chalice lighting this morning comes from Leslie Takahashi, who adapted these words from Rumi in Come, Come. Come, come, whoever you are. Come with your hurts, your imperfections, your places that feel raw and exposed. Come, come, whoever you are. Come with your strengths that the world shudders to hold. Come with your wild imaginings of a better world. Come with your hopes that it seems no one wants to hear. Wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving, we will make a place for you. We will build a home together. Ours is no caravan of despair. We walk together. Come, yet again come.
Now is the time in our service when we usually would all say the covenant together, but I think for purposes of Zoom, I will just say it and you can either mouth the words or just say them in your head. So this is the covenant that we use. Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its law. To dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. This is our covenant. And now I want to introduce our pre-recorded hymn today. Our musician, her name is Maeve King. And if you have the teal hymnal handy, this is hymn number 1018, Come and Go With Me. Again, if you wish to sing along, please do. Now's the time in our service when we take up the morning offering. And before we talk about who our offering is, who we share the plate with this morning, I have a short reading from Victoria Weinstein. And she says, "The purpose of the church is to encourage all who gather there to grow more generous in spirit and in action. This is the great end of all the world's faith traditions, to bring the human closer to the divine by acts of creation and compassion. We now take an offering that allows us to exercise that all-important generosity of spirit, an offering that will support the self-supporting church and its many ministries. The gifts of the congregation will be most gratefully received." And the organization that is receiving our offering this morning is the GLBT Center of Mishawaka. And for our friends in West Lafayette, this is the only organization of its kind in our area. Elkhart County does not have an LGBT resource center. The closest to us is in South Bend. So we're looking to help support them in their mission, especially in times like these. If you look in the chat, that's where our link to our Square site to, if you wish to donate some time and money. So please give generously as we take up the morning offering. Andrew, take it away. Oh, you're still muted, by the way.
Good morning, friends. Good morning, friends, not only in Elkhart, but in West Lafayette, too. I've had the pleasure of visiting both of your beautiful sanctuaries. And now in my mind, I'll be seeing both of them this morning. I want you to know before I start that we did not feel the earthquake this far north in Virginia this morning. But it feels sort of like the ground is shaky under our feet 24/7 these days, doesn't it? So with that this morning, let me ask you, this time of pandemic, right? This is crazy. We, like tens of millions of other households, for this last month, have been hearing the soundtrack to Hamilton coming out of my kids' room, blasting in my wife's car, on the TV. And it's magnificent. Our origin stories as told by our present. The struggle to reconcile all of those beautiful and imperfect promises that we have yet to keep. And this summer of all summers, when it seems to rage and burn in every direction we look. So let me ask, with this whole quarantine, isolation, all of the rest of it, homeschooling, or supervising homeschooling as it is in our case, how are you? Are you perhaps struggling, feeling guilty that, I don't know, maybe you're not acing this, like you should be superhuman, being able to work and parent and deal with all of the individual issues that come along with having so much of our daily routine in a shambles? The first thing I would love to do for you this morning is, at least for the rest of this day, give you a small gift. The first thing we need in Corona world, as I call it, is some sort of first commandment, first principle, a guiding mantra, call it what you will, but let it be for today this. To thine own good self first, be gentle. None of us knows what we're doing. There are no rules written down anywhere. There's no elder wisdom to rely on. We're all here, fumbling our way in the dark, reaching out for the hand, not even knowing whose hand it is we're reaching out to. We are here to get each other through this as best we can. Of course, we UUs are not alone in experiencing enormous grief with no end in sight, right? So maybe this is a good time to step back and take stock, take a bigger view of the world for a moment. The lessons outside my own window this morning, here on my dead-end gravel road, looking at the cardinal flitting from the tree to the grass, the squirrel working on a black walnut the size of his head. The outside world is going on no matter what we do. I see the rustle of the leaves this morning in a humid breeze. Those leaves that will soon enough again give way to color, collapse, and crinkle, and begin again. Grief and gratitude for the precious gift of a moment in time, this moment in time with you. A moment to preserve out of time for all time. To heal, revel, breathe in its magic and its splendor. Will there be another Ansel Adams, American original, sculptor of shadow and light? Will another have the patience to await the perfect moment when the elements and angles are just right? Ansel Adams was no hero, cursed with pride and foible, but like any Einstein you find, take everything you can, seraphim of film and format, Wizard of the lands, freezing magic in a frame of stone and sand. And in a range of light, a gentleman revealed his heart, showed us treasures God in plain sight hid. And in a sacred setting, shutter clicking on the wind, let us see like Ansel Adams did. A moment is so precious, and our hurry, rush, rush lives seems the only way to save it is hang it over the TV. And our modern generation focused on the destination. Is it still a thing of beauty if we move too fast to see? And in a range of light, a gentleman revealed his heart, showed us treasures God in plain sight hid. In a sacred setting, shutter clicking on the wind, let us see like Ansel Adams did. I'm a man who chases shadows. I've been known to talk to ghosts, and I strain to hear echoes of the past. His reflections in still waters, spires soar into the sky, all remind me that this heartbreak will not last. And in a range of light, a gentleman revealed his heart, showed us treasures God in plain sight hid. And in a sacred setting, shutter clicking on the wind, let us see like Ansel Adams did. There be another Ansel Adams, American original, sculptor of shadow and light. When this pandemic came to our shores, and we spread it around, it was new to us. This whole thing of dealing with a plague among us is new to us, but in a historical sense, it's not. As a family historian and a seat of the pants historian, if you will, I am keenly aware of how history seems to move in at least loops, if not cycles and waves. And so I sort of recognized when I got back from being in New Orleans for a show March 12th and Austin for a show on March 14th, two places that were early hotspots, I was mighty grateful that I came home healthy and well and was able to get home healthy and well. And as things unfolded and I realized that my life had changed perhaps irrevocably, I did what I often do when faced with a lot of uncertainty and emotional discomfort, if you will. I journaled gratitude for a week. And one of the things that I was grateful for was that this is 2020 and not 1918, where we're able to actually have the technology to see each other and to stay connected to each other safely from the isolation of our own homes. And I thought, you know, how different the Spanish flu might have been had our ancestors had some other ways of being in touch with each other. Over the course of that week, I did my gratitude journal on my website, and I realized at the end of it that there are even silver linings in this difficult time. And always I return my heart to count my blessings. Count your blessings, don't count your gold. You don't need money when you're lying cold. You can't buy your way into heaven, I am told. Count your blessings, don't count your gold. Count the good deeds that you've done, and lend your hand to help someone. St. Peter's got his list, he's checking everyone. Count the good deeds that you've done. In spite of all your troubles, all you need is on your back. Believe in all your blessings, don't worry about all you lack. Count the lessons you learn each day. Let them guide you, show you the way. Follow wise words, you won't go astray. Count the lessons you learn each day. Count your blessings, don't count your gold. You don't need money when you're lying cold. You can't buy your way into heaven, I am told. Count your blessings, don't count your gold. Count your blessings, don't count your gold. And it rings, and it rings, and it rings. One of my many gratitudes, the trip to Ireland with my parents 3 years ago, where that beautiful guitar was a gift from cousins that I had never met. These are remarkable times, friends. There is no doubt about that. But I want to offer you a slightly different perspective this morning. We have been here before. And as much as it pains me to say it, this is who we have always been. In this time when our American family is again torn by passion, that in many ways boils down to the how of how should we balance the worth of work versus the weight of wealth. Lessons from our history are all around us. Perhaps the unfettered oligarchy that mushroomed in the failure of Reconstruction, or the paper tigers of Wall Street that ruled the roaring 20s and collapsed into a Great Depression, or perhaps the uniformed resistance of the state in the 1950s and 60s that brought us the civil rights era. Being human and civilized is not neat. But perhaps there are also lessons from our ancestors in this time of turmoil. Perhaps this time of turmoil that is also a time of turning. "2,000 years ago today, a farmer walked his field, wondered what the land would yield before the winter snow. 2,000 years ago today, two young lovers kissed, laughed and made a wish beneath a shooting star glow. Somewhere in a far and distant future, millennia beyond imagining, as time ticks away, what will remain of how we lived and loved today?" 2,000 years ago today, anger hurled a stone to break another's bones and keep some fool upon a throne. 2,000 years ago today, a cog in a war machine drew his last breath on a distant plain as he dreamed of home. Someday in a far and distant future, millennia beyond imagining, as time ticks away, what will remain of how we lived and loved today? "2,000 years ago today, a mama hushed her little ones, kissed them on the head and tucked them into bed, and turned her face toward the sky for blessings from on high. Prayed to guide them safe on the unknown path ahead. She wondered someday in a far and distant future, millennia beyond imagining, as time takes away, what will remain of how we lived and loved today, of how we live and love So, if you're not acing this, you're not alone. You have a wealth of company. I want you to know I see you. I see you here as you are, in your fear and your power, wearing your grief and your glory in all their effervescence. What if this turmoil is because this is a time of great turning, of cocooning and metamorphosis? What if these are the moments we are called to? If that's the case, then let us use our fear to inform not our anger, but our empathy, for our neighbors in this human community are afraid too. And let us use our empathy to inform not our anger, but our power, to go virtually and spiritually forth into this hurting world that desperately needs a coalition of the decent and a rising tide of understanding. Despite the challenges and the darkness, maybe these are our times when we are called and needed to be our greatest generation, to be who we are and who we aspire to be. Learning, always learning, fueling the turning, checking our belief, our privilege, our bias, our fear, our hearts. It is not complicated or difficult to reaffirm who we are. Simply start with one simple kindness, one hand reaching to another in this fumbling darkness. In the words of John Lewis, we may not have chosen the time, but the time has chosen us. And that, my friends, each of us is indeed something worth standing for.
Sweat in the noonday sun, his backseat stacked with stuff he's picked up, his beat up car barely runs. He's got 1,000,000 miles worn upon his face, but smiles as he walks my way. Lights a half-smoked cigarette as he sits down. Before I can leave, he turns to say, you gotta haul all you need from the river, build your temple up from the floor. Be grateful for every gift you get, find something worth standing for. I've been down in the shadows about the shape I'm in, a mess made with my own hands. And I could write a book with the lessons I've learned and hard luck that made this man. I've walked in the valley of darkness, I've known heartbreak, I've known loss, but I'm still standing on these 2 feet, amazed it only got me across. So haul all you need from the river, build your temple up from the floor. Be grateful for every gift you get, find something worth standing for. Said, now hear me, son, I could talk till my face turns blue. What matters ain't the words you say, it's all the little things that you do. Don't be afraid to help another, 'cause when your time's up there's nowhere to hide. And the walls we build to keep us safe are prisons that trap us inside. So haul all you need from the river, build your temple up from the floor. Be grateful for every gift you get, find something worth standing for.
so very much for letting me be with you this morning, friends. Namaste.
Thank you, Andrew, for being with us this morning. And my closing words for our worship service this morning are from Tom Shade. And he says, "My friends, there is a power at work in the universe. It works through human hands, but was not made by human hands. It is a creative, sustaining, and transforming power, and we can trust that the power with our lives and our ministries. It will sustain us when we take a stand on the side of love. Whenever we take a stand for peace and justice, whenever we take a risk, trust in that power. We are together held by that power." And before we sign off on this, I want to let everybody know that we are holding a virtual coffee hour on another link. Terry has posted that in the chat, so if you wish to join us at 11:30, please do. Thank you all for coming this morning, and let me tell you, hearing this, it kind of touched my heart, and I hope it worked for you all too. Thank you for joining us, and hope to see you again soon.